Alright, y'all, so we're officially back with a brand new video, and if you're new to my YouTube channel, you already know what you gotta do. Hit that like button. Help your boy reach his goal of reaching 10 likes. So everybody that watches this video, if we get 10 views, let's get 10 likes. If we get 20 views, let's get 20 likes. Smash that like button, people. It takes less than a second. So we gotta talk about this because I thought this was some interesting news that I saw pop up on YouTube. And that is Rebel Moon might have been the Zack Snyder straw that broke Netflix back, as plans for more Army of the Dead are reportedly bend. So, obviously, the news going around YouTube is the fact that Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead continued universe has been canceled, and a lot of this might be because of Rebel Moon, which has not been doing good as far as the director's cuts go. Now, I'm on this website called VG247, and I want to read this article to get some more detail on, why, besides Rebel Moon, this could possibly be canceled. So let's go ahead and jump straight into it. And as you see here, it says surely Rebel Moon isn't getting sequels, right? And here we are, making a post-apocalyptic zombie slash heist movie set in Las Vegas, which is boring, should be more than enough reason to throw anyone in director's jail for a decade. Yet Netflix decided to give Zack Snyder another fat stack of dollars to develop Rebel Moon, a brand new sci-fi universe with no clear defining traits other than being very violent and not your family friendly Star Wars. As long as you're watching the released director's cuts. Now it appears the filmmakers' luck might have finally run out as Army of the Dead isn't expanding with new movies or shows anymore. Now just to be fair, I haven't heard much about this universe since the movie came out. I know there was supposed to be maybe like a prequel story or a sequel to the movie, but I haven't heard anything since. So this doesn't really surprise me that they're not moving forward. Continuing on, ever since his 2017 Justice League movie was trashed by Warner Bros. And turned into a Frankenstein mess by Josh Whedon and the producers a lifetime ago, Snyder has been in the business of selling even bigger ideas and trying to play both sides. One for the big studios and one for himself. His Snyder cut of Justice League only turned into a reality thanks to the most toxic online fan movement in recent memory. Was admittedly a very noteworthy rework of the theatrical released husk of a movie into an ambitious vision with a distinct voice behind it. That approach now feels like a one time trick, though. They're not lying. Via The Wrap, which mainly interviewed Zack Snyder and Deborah Snyder about the Rebel Moon DCs, we've learned that Netflix has chosen to quietly step away from more Army of the Dead, a movie that wasn't a massive disaster with critics and viewers, yet simply felt far too bloated and expensive for what was ultimately another zombie flick. Moreover, it was full of head scratching world building and ideas that asked for even more money and time to be developed in the future movies, as well as TV shows. You gotta admit, the Snyders do aim high, but with almost everyone in Hollywood cutting down costs and trying to play things safer for a while, it comes as no surprise that Netflix is not seeing the same franchise potential in that universe. There's a funny remark in the piece with Deborah Snyder pointing out that in spite of everything, there will be a themed experience coming to the Six Flags theme park this Halloween. Honestly, the statement feels like the cherry on top of a trash cake, and this isn't something I personally want to write, as I've always admired the filmmaker and his partner slash producer's commitment to taking bold swings wherever possible, even if they didn't land many times. But you also have to learn to realize when to step away from a failed idea and refocus on something else. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Zack Snyder was asked by longtime friend and past writing partner James Gunn to make something for the DCU under better circumstances. So, with that being said, I'm gonna give you my 2 cents. Um, am I surprised that this universe is being canceled? Not really. At the end of the day, it's like the article said. There's just a lot of money that Zack Snyder has thrown at his projects, and with inflation and everything going on, a lot of these companies are trying to figure out ways to cut costs, and obviously throwing money at projects is not helping. I'm sure a lot of y'all probably saw my last video or seen some videos or articles where the released Zack Snyder Rebel Moon cuts have not been doing good. Um, I don't know how to call it. Not money wise, but streaming wise. And for that, I'm pretty sure it's a big blow to Netflix and a big blow to Zack Snyder. And it makes you wonder who to point the finger at. Was it Zack Snyder for making these movies 3 hours long and so big that he couldn't come up to an hour and a half or 2 hours or some change? Or is it Netflix fault because they decided to give us these watered down movies first instead of giving us the OG version that was released later on? Again, if it was me, if I was Netflix, I would have said, we're not going to give you the watered down version. We're going to give you the OG version that just came out, but we need you to cut it down, Zack Snyder, because this is a 3 hour movie. It's too long. No one's going to sit here for 3 hours and watch this whole entire movie. Now, when it comes to the Army of the Dead, I mean, other than the fact that they went to Vegas or they was already in Vegas and they were trying to steal some money from a safe, of course, having to get to the zombies. That's about as much as I remember. Everything else about this movie honestly escapes my mind. It's been 3 years since this movie came out, and we haven't heard anything about the universe. Yeah, we haven't heard anything about this universe since. It doesn't really surprise me that their Netflix is not moving forward. And I really do think it would be a good idea for Zack Snyder to kind of scale down his movie productions and spend less money. Obviously, living in this day and age, everybody's trying to cut costs. So that's my idea on what I think Zack Snyder should do: cut down on the money when it comes to spending. And this article, excuse me, did make sense when it comes to Zack Snyder and the Rebel Moon project. I mean, he said it himself. I think it was just an idea he came up with randomly. So it doesn't really feel like there's a heart and soul when it comes to this universe. It just feels like it's a more mature version of Netflix. I mean, sorry, Star Wars, but without there being a real reason for it to be made. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised if moving forward, Zack Snyder goes back to the DC universe and directs something in the DC universe, which I know is going to wake all the Snyder Cut fans to sit there and say, at least toxic fans, to sit there and say, oh, we could be getting the Snyderverse back because he's working with DC. No, he's just directing the movie in the DC universe. So, with that being said, y'all let me know in the comment section below, what do y'all think about the news that Rebel Moon and most likely this Army of the Dead are done? Netflix is pretty much done with throwing movie at anything, throwing money at anything that Zack Snyder drops. Post those comments down below. Let me know your all thoughts. Us, and also make sure you subscribe as well. I'll catch you on my next video. 2,000 subscribers.